And hello, everyone. It's FANzine Live. It's Tom, and we are doing a classic zine review. Your eyes do not deceive you. This is the Comet #1, and I'm going to get up real close there so you can see it. Spring of 1973. Pretty amazing. And this is a copy of the first printing of the Comet by L.E.J. or Larry E. Johnson. Larry Johnson is a legend in small press circles. He is also a former newspaperman, and he is a longtime member and current member of the United Fanzine organization. And I am fortunate enough to have a copy of this piece in wonderful condition. So I wanted to see if I could share some of this with you. Larry, as you can tell just by looking at this interior spread, pretty much had a fully formed product right out of the box. Nice typesetting, nice design sense. He had artists, he had writers. He had the whole shooting match, and it looks gorgeous. I did like this, though. It says, hello and welcome. This is Comet Views, his introductory column. Hello and welcome to the first issue of the Comet. You know, I've been wanting to put out a fanzine for about 4 years now. This is 1973, remember. And I've finally gotten up enough gumption to get around and do something about it. I quickly penned an ad to put in the RBCC, the Rocket Blast Comic Collector, and the Buyer's Guide, and send it along the way. However, things seemed a little grim when I read that someone had placed an ad and not received one reply. So then he started to hustle, and he tells the story of creating the Comet. And he says he could call the theme of the first issue Potpourri because of the wide variety of things in it. So here we go. Let's take a look at some of these things. He did a review, an overview, if you will, of Gulliver of Mars, one of the brightest concepts to hit the Marvel line in 1972, was actually based on an old 1905 novel. Larry has done a wonderful job over the years of doing these long-form profiles of classic storytelling. So this was a neat one that he did. And he does his own artwork. He did not do this one, but he did do this, and he did do this. So he already was a pretty accomplished artist. This was not his work. 1973, remember, the decline and fall of the costume superhero again. So you can see in 1938, you had Superman. In 1961, they had Fantastic Four. And apparently comics were dying in 1973, or at least superhero comics were dying. This was another neat one. Larry did this, which, of course, take on C.C. Beck's Captain Marvel and Jack Kirby's The Demon. I'm not sure who that's supposed to be. It could be any of a number of characters. But I did like this. The top comic book news, the top 10 of 1972. The return of Captain Marvel, the Big Red Cheese. The retirement of Stan Lee. National getting the rights to Tarzan, which, of course, National is DC. Pulp Heroes making a comeback. Doc Savage in the Shadow. And now Tarzan. Horror and monster books return. Companies expand their titles. The Green Arrow, Green Lantern series dies. Kirby keeps busy. New Gods and Forever People were canceled, but 2 books came to replace them, The Demon and Commandy. Conan, still popular as Barry Smith leaves. And then Warren publishing Dracula. And this was written by Dennis Gibbons. Hal Peters did a piece on Tarzan. Marvel's controversial creation, Counter-Earth, in Warlock. And then there were some book reviews as well. The Steranko History of Comics, Volume 2. That's on page 32. What other ones did they take a look at? At the Earth's Core by Edgar Rice Burroughs. Comics, Anatomy of a Mass Medium. coming from Little Brown and Company. Neat. Odds and ends. Expressing, this is like almost a letters column. In this column, fans are allowed to express their opinions, good or bad, on the current comic scene in short essays. Demon versus Commandy, the conflict of comics, the great Captain Marvel ripoff. I mean, this stuff is timeless. Comic Showcase, Frontline Combat. And that looks like a Larry Johnson image. The FANzine Review, Sense of Wonder, Comic Crusader, FVP, Star-Studded, Chronicle. Check out this gallery. A person named Meyer. I wonder which Meyer that is. Dudley Meyer, my guess. And then Ed Savage. Love that. A very golden age type look. And a good use of the center spread so that you could do the larger picture there. Larry Johnson. This was neat. These are short stories. Snowdrifts by Jack Moniger. What's in a Nickname by Jim Main. I mean, these are friendships that Larry has had going back. I mean, Jim and Larry are both in the UFO right now, so they've been going back 50 years together. Larry writing his own The Curse of Mary Montrose. And then Alter and Captain Ego. And this is written by a gentleman named John Pierce and art by Larry. And the thing I love about this is I have a lot of Larry's comics, especially his more recent stuff. And truthfully, his work has cleaned up a little, but the basics of his cartooning style are the same. I look at this, and especially the facial structure and the muscle structure on these guys, that's Larry Johnson. I can point out a Larry Johnson thing going back apparently 50 years. The eyes there on what appears to be Alter, that's much more of an homage to the likes of C.C. Beck's Captain Marvel. But this stuff is pure Larry Johnson. And of course, you know, for a first-time comic, this is really great stuff. I mean, I wish I could draw this nice. The word balloons obviously are full. The story is probably a little overwritten. But you still get some neat shots. Look, he's using Zipatone. Straight out of the box. Larry Johnson's using Zipatone. Go figure. A lot of fun. So then Larry was trying to sell off some of his old comics. Let's see what he's got. Hulk 135, he's selling for 10 cents. Thor 138 for 20. Amazing. And he had some paperbacks as well that he was selling. And then these are just the leftovers. Stuff from earlier. Ed Savage doing another. That's a very Kirby-esque face there. And then Larry doing the back cover. Professionally printed. Seems to be, I don't think it's newsprint, but it wouldn't surprise me if, well, maybe it is. That's a high quality of newsprint. Especially the blacks are still good. The cover has a nice texture to it that you just don't see anymore. It's almost like part way to cardstock. It's like a heavy resume grade or something like that, but it feels wonderful. Nice texture to it. And of course the color printing. Very cool. So anyway, that's the Comet. #1, spring 1973. Larry, you've had such an incredible ride. So glad to be able to share the beginning of it with everybody. And I'm sure we'll take a look at many of Larry's books over the days and years ahead. That's it, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this classic zine, and I will catch you next time.